The Villager is one of the newest minis added to Clash Mini, and in this video I'm going to be breaking it down and showing you how to maximize its effectiveness. It can be unlocked in the third set, which is the rare set, as one of the earlier new minis you unlock once playing the game. It is a 3-cost mini and has the passive ability where your ally hero gets a 40% attack speed buff while the villager is alive. This means if the villager dies, the buff will be removed and the hero will attack as normal. This may seem overpowered, but to combat this, the villager is a melee mini, which means you'll always be in your front line, which makes it very vulnerable to death. In addition, the villager also only does 1 damage and has 18 health, which is pretty low. It has the classes Clan and Specialist, while the Clan class being the only useful thing for it as it buffs its health. The first start upgrade for the villager makes it so that the hero gets an additional 1 extra attack damage permanently while the villager is alive. When you use it, it does not show any form of attack damage bonuses, the icons on top of the hero, but it's not a stat change. It's still a 1 extra buff. Therefore, when you're using attack damage multipliers, it won't add to it. It's hard to explain, so I'll show an example. The Barbarian King does 2 base damage, and with his super it will do 4. Now with the +1 attack damage, instead of doing 6, it will only do 5. As you can see from this interaction, the Barbarian King does 3 base damage, but when it attacks the shield maiden with his super, it only does 5 and does not do 6. Therefore, like I said, the +1 damage is an overall buff and not a stat change. Tried this again with the Barbarian King's 3rd star, thinking that its regular ability is a universal ability, therefore it did not multiply with its buff from the villager. But even with the 3rd star, it only does 9 damage and not 10. Therefore, the +1 attack damage is an overall buff and not a stat change, and is not affected by damage multipliers from external or internal abilities. Another thing you need to know about this buff is that it does not affect supers. So all supers will stay the same because they're considered another attack rather than its main attack, and its +1 attack damage is for only its main attack. However, there is one exception. That exception is the Archer Queen. This is because the Archer Queen super is not a completely new attack, rather it is a buff to its main attack. As you can see in this video, when the Archer Queen attacks with its normal attack, it does 3 damage instead of 2, stating that the +1 attack damage buff is being active. Now when you use the super, all enemies that are attacked except for its main attack also do take 3 damage instead of 2. This shows that Archer Queen super is not an overall buff or an overall new attack, rather it is a buff to its main attack, which means that the +1 damage does carry over to all of the projectiles shot by the Archer Queen. This means that the Archer Queen is going to be way stronger than other minis. This is also why one of the most meta decks in the previous balance changes and this balance change is the Archer Queen with the villager, because of the fact that every single crossbow shot is getting buffed, so when you get the middle star promotion, it just makes it even better. Next, the second upgrade for the villager is the hero gets +3 HP every 2 seconds. This may seem very underwhelming, but the +3 seconds every 2 seconds is really good, especially in the current meta with the Countess being so overpowered. And when you use ranged heroes such as the World Champion, Archer Queen, or even the Grand Warden, the extra health is very important to keep it alive because it's your main DPS. The upgrade is also amplified by certain tiles such as the Devil's Deal or the Heartstopper tile. Its third upgrade, and probably its most useless one, is that whenever the hero dies first, the villager gets +2 damage, making it do 3 damage instead of 1, and get 50% more attack speed. This is pretty useless because the villager itself was pretty weak and you're not going to rely on it for damage, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to die before the hero. So it is a pretty useless upgrade and it's rarely ever used in any situation, unless you have extra elixir hanging around. The villager gains 12 HP every upgrade, so 9 times out of 10 you only get 2 upgrades for it, so it'll max out at 42 health. It's really important because it has pretty good amount of health, so it's not really gonna die too much by ranged attacks. Before we go into some decks and live gameplay, I'm gonna share some advanced tips with the villager. The first one is pretty complex. It involves a tactic or a concept called unit trapping or corner trapping, but I like to call it castling. So a quick history lesson, unit trapping has been around since the game has first came out, and this concept basically involves putting two minis on this tile and this tile, which are also ranged so that they won't walk, and then placing a high value or tank in this corner tile, with the same applying for the opposite side. This whole thing is made up because when you place that mini in the corner, it cannot move as long as the ranged minis do not move. This concept was first created when the Countess was released, because when the Countess was released, it would teleport to the furthest enemy and not the weakest enemy like it does now. So it always teleports to the back line, which makes things like Archer Queen really weak. Since the Countess was so rampant in that meta back 2 years ago, people started creating certain tactics to stop the Countess from getting to the back line. One of them was this corner trapping method, where they would put the Archer Queen primarily and an archer in these two tiles and put a guard in the corner. This way, if the Countess is not placed in this specific row, the furthest enemy from the Countess would always be the guard, so it always will teleport to the guard, which was tanky enough so that it will not die and will just tank until the Countess teleports away. After that, Supercell buffed the Countess to make it so that it teleports to the weakest enemy and not the furthest, just completely scrapping this concept altogether, and this became irrelevant until now. Now the same concept applies, where you put two range minis in these two corner spots and put the villager in this far corner so that the villager cannot move and will never get involved in the attack, so that it will always stay alive throughout the match. Another tip is that when there are multiple villagers on the map, when you're using the clone tile, the buff does stack. So when you put the villager on the clone tile, there will be two buffs, which is 80% increase to the hero, and the damage, healing, and all of that will also stack, giving it extra amount of damage. Now let's get into some decks and live gameplay. This is the deck that I'm going to be using today. This deck counters really well because of the Valkyrie. Normally you would have either the Giant or the Hog Rider over the Valkyrie, but since the Countess is so rampant, you need the Valkyrie to defend and you don't need another tank, so it's okay. This deck has 3 synergies with the clan, where the whole team has 10 plus HP, Ranger for the Archer Queen, and the undead buff for tier 1, which is really overpowered. Basically the whole concept of this is that you're going to trap the villager in the corner so that it doesn't travel anywhere, and you're trapping it with the Archer Queen, the Archer, and the Witch, so that the villager just stays in the corner, and the Archer and Archer Queen are going to do so much damage to the back line, while the tanks are going to be a Valkyrie and your Giant Skeleton. To back it up, the Valkyrie's anti-heals will be really important for Countesses, and if you don't face a Countess, generally you don't want to upgrade the Valkyrie, you want to place it down for the synergy. The Valkyrie's shield breaker is also really important for Grand Warden, which is also really popular right now, since the Grand Warden almost hard counters the Countess. And the undead buff is just there because it's really good. The Witch is really good for countering stuff like P.E.K.K.A. and Monk, which is also pretty common nowadays because of the Countess, and the Archer Queen for the backline. And depending on the matchup, the Archer Queen's promotion is going to change. For example, if you're facing anything other than a Countess, you almost always want to get the middle upgrade for the Archer Queen, because like I said before, the villager's +1 attack damage buff will affect the super. Therefore, having more shots for your super is very important. But if you're not facing anything else other than the Countess, and you do face a Countess, which is really going to be common, you want to get the 3rd star, because again the 3rd star is so important to keep the Archer Queen alive, and does so much damage with the +1 attack damage is really crazy. If you do face a Countess, you would want to get the 2nd star for the villager. Normally you wouldn't want to do that because it doesn't really do anything, but For counters you do, because it's going to teleport to the backline anyway. So let's get into some live gameplay. I'm currently in 2600 trophies, so this will be pretty high level gameplay. So we are facing another Archer Queen player. I don't want to commit anything, so I'm just gonna cycle through. Hopefully get a promotion next round, and I'm gonna say okay. Let's see what he does. So he's gonna go for the army promotion for some reason. I don't know what he's thinking. He needs to wait, let's be honest. But we're not gonna lose this round because he has a promotion. What's really annoying about this is that you don't get a promotion straight up, so you're almost always gonna lose round 1 against a mirror matchup. This is so annoying. So he doesn't get the victory. I don't know what he's doing else, so I'm just gonna place Giant Skeleton and see what happens. I do get a promotion, so I'm gonna promote to 4 enemies. I'm not gonna waste my rerolls. I'm gonna say okay, let's see what happens. I assume he's running the same deck as me. Yeah, he is. So it's a complete mirror matchup. I don't know which side to teleport to. To move, I mean, say Magic, you mean to? I mean, I might. I am just gonna go to the right. No, I'm going to the left so that my not Okay, I'm just gonna go to the corner. I don't really care. This gonna be my setup. Archer, give it range. Then we're gonna get +1 damage. Witch and cycle. Let's ready up. I don't know why I put Archer Queen there though. You can put the witch a bit higher, but let's see. So Archer is gonna attack the villager with my plan all along because I didn't want it to face anything. Oh, this is clean sweep, man. Since that chance. So next I'm probably gonna get the boast for the Valkyrie so that the witch just dies. Then I'm probably gonna get 2 attacks for the archer. Hopefully get another archer upgrade. There we go. Let's ready up. Hopefully it doesn't have any funny stuff like the hog rider. If not, I'm done. But I'm not really gonna be okay because it's a mirror matchup. Hopefully no hog rider. If not, I'm done. This fisherman. Why the hell is he a fisherman? Okay, that was a bad idea to upgrade the archer, but we should be okay still. Because, yeah, the fisherman doesn't do anything right now because he didn't pull the main thing with his Archer Queen. Since it's fisherman, I should probably upgrade my Valkyrie probably, yeah. I'm just gonna go all in on the Valkyrie, give it anti-heal, doesn't really do anything, but I'm okay anyways. Just so that it does more health and just attacks faster in general. We should win this match, unless he pulls something else out. Like a hog rider, because he knows that I don't have Prince or Dark Prince. Shit, he has Prince. Hopefully it snags the... Oh, it doesn't. I was thinking it would hit the archer first, but the fisherman's too fast. I'm absolutely dominating this guy. It's easy victory. And that's why we beat a mirror matchup with this Archer Queen deck. It's really good. So that's it for this video. I hope you found this useful, and comment down below which other mini army make the hero of. I couldn't face any counter assists today, but if I do, I'll probably post another video about it. So that's it, and have a wonderful day.